Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Forced Entry. On this week's episode, Kevin and I talk about a little indie flick that we went to go see, made by a gentleman named Joss Wheaton, Age of Ultron. Also, Kevin vapes into the microphone for about 30 minutes. Now you're going to be listening to it for it. If you like the podcast, remember to like on iTunes and comment. Some of your comments might spur some ideas for what you'd like us to talk about. But without any further ado, here is Forced Entry, Episode 2. And unlike Kevin, I know where the button is to stop this thing. Or not. Is it a switch? Yeah, it's all, like I said, you don't have to record the separate tracks. It's already all mixed.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
Are you already recording?
Yeah. I'm like 30 minutes of recording right now, man. All right.
Well, this is our third longest intro. No.
This is our third longest intro, and this is only our second show.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well, that's the secret episode,
Yeah.
the one we did in secret.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's not so secret now.
welcome to Forced Entry.
Yeah,
My
there you
name's
go.
Bobby Reed.
And I'm Kevin, and this is Forced Entry, Ultron style. Nah, and
Yeah.
that's where we roll our own little. All
All right, that's enough.
right. All right, so
Disney's horrible with copyright, so like none of that's going to make the podcast. You know that.
right. Well, no, that was an original.
Original?
Yeah. So let's start with the movie-going experience. You walk in, you sit down. There's the expectation of what this movie is going to be to you. I will go over what I was expecting. I'm kind of expecting, somewhere between, good and great. It's not going to be good, and it's not going to be great. It's going to be like in the middle, and I think that's kind of what I've received. It wasn't as good as Avengers 1. Maybe it's because I wasn't as excited for it.
So you think Avengers 1 was a better Avengers movie than this Ultron movie?
And that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know, it's because I wasn't as excited for Avengers 2 as I was for Avengers 1, and I'm trying to figure out why. And I'm going to blame it on, like, just all the clips, all the trailers, all the pictures that came out. It just kind of wore me down.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, trailer fatigue really set in with this movie. And with Avengers 1, you had that anticipation because this is the first team-up movie.
Yeah.
You didn't know what to expect. But now that we have, like, Guardians and we have Avengers, I guess you're kind of I want to say don't have as high expectations.
It took the excitement from me.
It did.
It took the, and then when the excitement's taken from me personally, I start looking for other things to have it bother me almost in a way. Like, it took me a while for the mouth movement for Ultron. About 10, 15 minutes of him watching him moving. Like, I couldn't explain the lip thing for me. I understand like the speakers, but it looks like like the speaker jaw line circle. I don't know. It took me a while to like grasp that.
Yeah, the lip movement was not mechanical. Ultron's mechanical, and he was making lip movements, and that's what bothered me. And it bothered me when that first clip came out, when Ultron's talking to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just really hoping. I hope this is just a rough cut of what Ultron's going to look like, because I don't know if I can handle 2.5 hours of this lip movement, because that's just so distracting.
It finally set in for me. That first scene, going back to that scene you're talking about with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, when he's sitting there and he's got his head tilted and he's like legitimately trying to like level with them, like almost like a human would. And I guess that's the idea that the movie tries to spin off, with him being a machine with human qualities that had the mission. He's supposed to be the next step, almost like a Magneto-ish type of agenda here. you
Yeah.
know?
But with that head movement, his head cocked to the right. I don't know if you watch Blacklist or anything else
No,
that James
no.
Spader is in.
No.
I could see James Spader in Ultron when he has his head cocked and he's trying to explain it.
Yeah, that's like that's his thing?
Yeah, it is.
All right, so well, that might be just an ode to Spader. Do you think Spader sat in? Like they acted against Spader, or they just had someone sit in?
It's kind of hard to say because I don't remember James Spader being introduced into the cast until later on. I think
he was voiced overed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about.
What do you think is James Spader as Ultron, the voice?
The voice worked. I think because before Ultron had this nice, like almost like a Dalek kind of, or I guess maybe more Cyberman, kind of like a monotone Ultron voice. I've always, even when I met him in the comics, always had this, he's very robotic, almost like an AI kind of a voice that came out. And then to have him have that, to be able to pick out tones and emotions from the way he said things, definitely made it for me. I think this version of Ultron I like, as far as how he sounded. The way he looked was cool. Just, I don't know, it took me a while to get past the mouth movement for him talking.
The way he looked really reminded me of Transformers, the movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because Michael Bay kind of like is almost like a bad word.
Yeah.
But it did give me that Transformer-esque movement. I was thinking about that on the car ride home last night. I was sitting there thinking, man, Ultron looked a little bit like a Decepticon.
Yeah, that was very distracting as well.
Yeah.
Overall, I liked the character of Ultron. It was really well done.
And I'm a little peeved to think that they, when Vision says you're the last one and he kills you, you have to think that maybe, that we're not going to see Ultron again. And I'm hoping we see him. I'm hoping that one day, Avengers 27 or something.
Yeah.
That we'll see Ultron again.
Ultron comes out of Vision.
Yeah. And I don't know. I liked the character Vision too. That was really sweet how they tied him in with Ultron. He was supposed to be the initial vessel for Ultron, the ultimate vessel. But
I was a little worried about Vision because right up until a couple movies ago, and Thor could be the exception, that it was kind of set in a real-esque kind of world, and now they're kind of moving more towards more comic book magic and other worlds sort of deals.
Right. And I guess the line was faded, which is fine. It didn't. I understand that's a hard thing to try to draw out. You're trying to draw out for the purpose, you're trying to get the comic book story integrated into the movie to keep your comic fans, your long-time Avenger fans. At the same time, you want to make this real enough for, hey, this is acceptable, this is practical, this could happen. The AI thing, that was pretty cool to see to actually come to fruition. And the way Tony Stark, and that's what pressed me the most about this movie, I think, was Robert Downey's character with Tony Stark trying to sell that line with the AI,
Yeah.
And he didn't even think twice about it. He was the futurist, this was his thing. Even though he knew what kind of consequences it would bring, he also knew the possibility, the possibility of a peaceful world outweighed the possibility of a destruction,
Yeah. And with that character, Tony Stark, they really left him out of this movie a lot. Iron Man was not a big a big thing in this. You didn't see any suit ups really.
He had, and that's good because before Avengers 1 was almost like Iron Man 3 in a way,
Yeah.
because it was a lot of Tony, and that's kind of how the comic book works. You get maybe one, maybe two characters that typical or storyline, has in the forefront, and then you have everyone else as a supporting role. There's no way you can have all those characters be, in the front ground. Usually it's Captain America or Tony Stark, and in some cases Thor. But this time, I'm gonna go ahead and give it away with this. it's Hawkeye. This is a Hawkeye movie.
It really
It
is.
is. And Hawkeye, fucking, what a great way to play him up, too. Because if you really think about each character and their power, I mean, Captain America is almost obsolete in a way. If it wasn't for his supreme fighting style and his really good leadership skills, he would not be, he would not be the key Avenger. And Hawkeye, well, he doesn't have that leadership skills. He's just really good with a bow.
Yeah.
So
He's just a regular guy
yeah.
in this world of superheroes. But they played it, like you said it a lot, is this was really a Hawkeye movie. And it was also kind of, to an extent, a Black Widow movie.
Yeah, it was also a Widow movie.
A lot of, like, Thor and Captain America and Tony Stark kind of faded into the background, and you saw Hawkeye come more to the foreground.
It was like that thing. It was that one line that his we'll say his special lady, Hawkeye's lady, comes in and goes, "Look at what's in the yard right now. Look at these gods walking around. The scary thing is that they may or may not need you. Or you may or may not need them. The real scary thing is that they need you. You being Hawkeye, they need you." And it wasn't really quite explained. I may have to watch it again. What kind of dynamic Hawkeye brings, but he's the family man. He's us. He's the one that we relate to. He's he's the Marine that goes there. He's the sailor. He's the soldier. He's the doctor that goes. He's the one that goes with the team. He's America in this video, and it's really it's kind of really good writing, I think, how to implement Hawkeye and make him an important character. Whereas like in the comics, they just kind of he's supporting role,
Yeah. I like how they did that.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Now, something else that was kind of mentioned to us today was by someone who came in the vet center. This movie was filled with comedy, almost borderline too much comedy.
Too much comedy. See, that's, in my opinion, too much comedy is like saying this car is too fast, this pie tastes too good, a penis too big. There's no such thing. I mean, I think the comedy has to be appropriate.
Yeah.
There's inappropriate comedy where like the jokes don't match the scene, the feel. But these jokes definitely were on point. Going back to Hawkeye, we're on a floating city. There's giant robots flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I got a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a joke to the audience, and it's Whedon does it the best in the past 20 years, in my opinion. He has a rapport with his fans, and he's able to speak to them directly in a way. And I think those lines are directly Whedon's line speaking to him, adding the importance of Hawkeye. Look, doesn't matter who you are now, but when you step outside that door, you're an Avenger. And that was I don't know, I thought I was gonna cry. I was like, oh, he almost got me. Oh. And then I was sitting there thinking, no, you're gonna die. I know it. Why are you setting him up?
They worked that so much for Hawkeye's death.
Oh, and then when you look back now after knowing what actually happened, you're like, man, it was so obvious that this was going to happen, but I never saw it coming. Damn you, Whedon! Why did you? Oh, that's rough.
Because he said in interviews before any production, you're gonna cry at this movie. There's something that's gonna happen. Someone's gonna die.
You're not gonna like this one bit.
Yes,
and it hurt. Like sitting there thinking, it would make sense that Hawkeye would die. He's not. Everyone has this feeling like he's not a key Avenger. He has no superpowers. I mean, I don't even think shooting really well with a bow and arrow is a superpower. It's not like he's got enhanced ability for accuracy.
I don't know. Have you ever shot a bow and arrow?
Yeah. I'm not great at it. But I mean, like I imagine after 10,000 hours of practice, he'd be pretty good at it. And this guy, he's just really good at it. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't design his own arrows. I don't know.
No, it's all Stark tech.
Yeah, Stark, Shield, whatever geek is behind the scenes come up with all the cool stuff. But he shoots these things. He's just a guy. He can do it with pistols. Like Natasha, the spy. She's also another human without powers, although she has a superpower to basically be a spy. But she has, Hawkeye has this thing. It would make sense for him to die. I could see him dying, and I honestly believed that he was going to. So that's another spoiler. Hawkeye doesn't die.
Yeah. You just broke the thing of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We were talking beforehand, and you said, I don't think we should say spoilers alerts or.
Oh yeah, well I did it. Yeah. Damn. I always feel like I don't want to tell a story.
Well, here's the thing, right? The podcast is going to have Ultron commentary somewhere in the title or the description. If you haven't seen it, 1, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
2,
yeah,
you know what you're getting when you open this file.
Honestly, and I think I have this opinion about some movies that you couldn't spoil it for me. Like if someone told me everything about this movie prior to me going to see it, I think I'd still go see it. It's not, and it wouldn't ruin it for me. I don't.
Yeah, yes and no. Like the way that I see that is with all the trailers and everything that comes out, you don't go to the movie with almost no expectations anymore.
Yeah.
You have trailers, you have clips, you have somewhat of an expectation of what you're going to go see. And that's kind of what I miss is here's this movie that's coming out. I have no trailer, I have no frame of reference.
Just your imagination.
But I'm going to go in, I'm going to pay my $15, and I really hope it's worth that $15.
Ah, you enjoy the gamble. You're a gambling man.
That's right.
Well, you'll get that come December 16th because those guys are doing a really good job keeping the lid on their movie. The Star Battle.
Starfighters?
Yeah, whatever that
Star
is.
Fox?
Star Fox. Whoa. You making a Star Fox movie?
I don't know. It could be in that Pixels movie, that trailer that we saw at the beginning of the Ultron flick.
Wait, before we go any further with Ultron, we'll do like an almost an intermission with it. The 2 trailers I wanted to bring up to you, seeing on the big screen. I'm sure you've seen them already prior to, but Fantastic Four. How's that looking?
Not excited.
I am not. I was hoping you'd say something very similar. I'm definitely not thrilled about that movie, and I think I almost got this thing that Fox is maliciously trying to ruin the brand with the movie. Like, if we go down, so are they. They're taking Fantastic Four with us. I don't know.
No, I'm not excited about the movie. One, the characters don't look very interesting. They changed I guess they changed a lot of things to where they're going interdimensional because it is a reboot. It's not connected to the other ones.
It's an absolute.
But the characters, I think they're trying to make the characters look really gritty and real. Like the Thing looks really unpolished.
Yeah.
And I think that could work, but I don't think that they're doing a good job with that.
That's one of those things that because it looks so shady to me, I may have to go see how it pulls off. I don't think it's going to deter me from seeing the movie in theater. I think there's a real possibility that I'll leave disappointed with my own expectations. And I got time to realize that it's not a Fantastic Four storyline. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan to begin with anyway, and I think that's why it's going to work for me. I like it when they pop in. I like the other variations of the team. In fact, my favorite Fantastic Four lineups when She-Hulk was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not so much of a fan of that team. I enjoy them individually more than I do them together in their own story. And I don't know. I just think that might not turn out the way I expected.
Yeah, I have very low expectations for that movie. So much to the point where I couldn't tell you who plays what character from the trailer. I don't know who Reed Richards is. I don't know who Storm is. I don't even know who the Human Torch is in that thing in that trailer.
You could not use deductive reasoning to come to a conclusion.
No, they all look the same to me in that trailer, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not very excited about this.
All right, so the other trailer I wanted to bring up was Ant-Man. Also one that's kind of off the beaten path. It's not Hank Pym, and it looks great.
It does. Was this the first time that you saw that trailer?
No, it's the second time. I actually watched it. I watched it Wednesday before coming in, and that was definitely one of those. It's not Hank. I have to swallow that somehow. But then seeing the trailer, it was good. It was really good. And I'm very excited to see, I think the idea of a shrinking man.
Yes.
That's definitely something. And I'm waiting for a tie-in to the Avengers at the end of that one. So that'd be pretty cool.
It will be. I really do enjoy the little train track at the end. That was just such great comedy.
That was funny. Yes, that was good.
Yes.
All right. So,
yeah. No, there's no other trailers other than Jurassic World. Like,
I think I'm just gonna like that movie because it's Jurassic.
Is that something to do with Jurassic? When I was a kid, I watched Jurassic Park every day after school for like 40 days straight.
That movie holds up. Have you seen it recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds up pretty well. Those graphics aren't destroyed or misdone, or they're not looking clunky or.
Yeah, but I think Chris Pratt really sells this movie to me.
Yeah. I think
Star-Lord in Jurassic World.
Yeah. Well, what else do you need? I mean, come on, chopping broccoli air. What do you want from me? That's it. That's what you paid for. This is what you want. I think that's definitely another movie for anticipation.
So what do you think the future is for the Marvel Universe after seeing this movie? Because Hulk is gone, or not gone, dead, but
he's left the team.
Hulk has left the team. He's in stealth mode somewhere. He's back in hiding. Tony Stark said goodbye at the new Avengers training facility.
Yeah. I think they're trying to tie in the new Avengers, so they got a couple of other characters they want to bring in. I think the future is I think I personally want to see T'Challa come into this mix somehow, because not only is he one of my favorite characters simply because of the idea of Wakanda, but he's just a really good fighter. Like, think about a guy he's another Hawkeye. Doesn't have any superpowers. He's got tech, but he can beat Captain America in a fist fight.
Yeah.
And he's a different type of captain, and I think he'd be a really good integration to the team. And then I think Spider-Man has to come in very soon somehow.
Well, of course, they paid so much money for him.
Yeah. And then we didn't get what we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the credits, after you see the gauntlet, you're safe to say to your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend, there's nothing there for you.
Yeah, we can leave the theater now.
You can leave the theater now. After you see Thanos grab the gauntlet, you can leave. It's all good. Unless you want to see Danny Elfman with his name on the credits. He hasn't written any song. He just has an assistant. There was an assistant credited to him. So that means Danny Elfman walked in, got some money and left. I don't know. Some shady shit.
I think it's in the contract with Marvel's. I have to be put in the credits somewhere.
Anything comic book related, I just need to be part of. But yeah, as far as the future goes, we're definitely going to get the Infinity Gauntlet. We're going to see the draw together of all the stones. I think Thor 3 is going to be a fantastic movie. It has to be. I don't know if they can even mess that one up. The idea that they're probably going to have to find a stone there. Captain America's with the Civil War. Tony Stark left the Avengers, so he's going to go through his own endeavors as, the human or the mutant or superhero rights movement. He's got to go through all that. Captain America being with the Avengers, it's going to be Tony Stark's team versus captain's team, and that's why it's going to be interesting to see where Spider-Man gets tied into. Is he going to get threaded in as an Avenger, or is he going to get threaded in as a friend of Stark's?
Yeah. So I'm predicting that the Guardians is going to be tied in with Thor 3.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think that's where that tie-in is supposed to go.
Yeah, and that's why Thor 3 and Guardians 2 is going to be something cool to watch, and I hope. Please, I hope someone's going to listen to this and go, oh, yeah, we're going to put Beta Ray Bill in there. Beta Ray Bill. Or Beta Ray Bill. You know, it's going to be fun to see Horseface, Hammer, Thor go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That sells me right there. Horseface Thor.
Horseface Thor. With a better accent, I think. He usually speaks well.
What accent do you want to see in that character, though?
What would be a good accent? Like, I think true Viking would be too much like Thor. I want to go with Victorian English.
Victorian English.
No.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah. I don't know, that's going to be fun, I think. And
it's going to be very Australian. Before any one of his lines, he's going to go, good day.
Yeah. We have to see Beta Ray take on Thor. That's going to be fun to watch. That speaks madness. Then we have to see Beta Ray take on Nova, and then we have to see somehow the Guardians coming through and doing that. What's going on now?
I don't know. Someone's trying to get in here.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So, your absolute what are some of your favorite shots of this film? I know there's some really good screenshots that are just like good parts, good scenes.
Yeah. Some of my favorite shots, I really liked when Tony Stark was hallucinating and you saw the mound of dead Avengers.
That was good.
Because there was so much speculation that this is how the Avengers die for a long time, and I was kind of happy to see that was a hallucination. I liked that. Geez, there were so many in that movie. I think they blew their load when at the very beginning of the movie, when they had the whole team fly across in slow motion.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That was cool. I definitely liked the Karate Kid, or like the Liu Kang kick that Black Widow was flying across the screen in.
But the most powerful scene that I think in the whole movie is when Quicksilver gets gunned down.
Yeah.
But the most powerful scene comes when Scarlet Witch knows her brother is dead, and even though you cannot hear her scream, she lets out a scream and an energy burst that is just so powerful. You can almost feel that pain.
Oh yeah, it just cooks robots. Yeah, dude, you took mine. The Quicksilver coming in, flipping that car over, saving Hawkeye, which I was almost sure was gonna get a couple holes ripped through him, and somehow miss that kid. I would have been sad to see that kid go away, but then, I wouldn't put it past Joss to kill that kid too. He's just a murdering bastard. But then to see
I am a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
Then to see Quicksilver in this like crazy like stance. He just got done flipping the car and he's just trying to keep his composure, and he looks over at Hawkeye and he goes, I bet you didn't see that coming. And I was like, no, Joss, no, no. And then I almost lost it then too. Cause I think the only reason why I didn't lose it is because I was just shocked. He was right. I did not see that coming.
I don't think anybody did. The workup for Hawkeye's death was just so much, and to see Quicksilver go like that, yeah.
All right, so
how about you? What was your favorite scene in the whole flick?
Well, definitely outside of the Hawkeye death, it was definitely that whole scene when Vision comes to life and he has to explain himself. That is such an important. That is vital. He comes to life. He goes at Thor. He's not going at Thor. He's just trying to make it to the window, and Thor's just in the way. God damn it! But he gets there, and Thor pulls everyone back. You don't in this scene. You don't know what Thor's intentions were, whose side he was on about creating AI. Yes, Thor created AI, and he comes in, holds the team back. Vision, there's a scene of just Vision just looking at the city. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if he's going to be Ultron or if he's going to be Jarvis. And then he turns around and he explains himself in such a way that the team automatically, even though they tried to be reserved about trusting him, they automatically did, especially when he handed them the hammer. It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh. So it's one of those things where it was an immediate sell. If you had to sell something quick, you took that. I don't know. That scene might have only been 3 or 4 minutes long, but that whole dialogue there between Vision, Stark, Thor, Cap, all these guys putting in their input. There's a kind of almost like a 3-way battle, about a 3-way argument on something that's already been decided, and they don't know what Vision's going to be. And then as soon as Vision, gives his point, and he says, I am not on your side. I'm on the side of life. Basically telling the Avengers, reassuring them what they're supposed to really be doing.
Yeah.
Because the movie started off with them comfortable in their ways, and their shells are going off everywhere. There's a lot of casualties. They've kind of gotten sloppy because they've gotten good. Victory defeated them.
Pieces cost you your strength.
That's what I wanted to say that to you halfway through. It was like, oh, victory has defeated you. Nah, but just that scene, I was so happy after that. I was like, damn, this is great writing. Incredible writing. That one moment was just, and I think that scene was also important for me to distract me from the Hawkeye death. I wasn't even looking forward to it. It was just like, damn, this scene, the Vision creation was awesome. And I really hope that character, I could see Vision getting his own, not his own movie, but almost getting a main role in someone else's flick, because he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think Vision's, I don't know. He's definitely he's a big character. He's not like he's not like a pumped up character. He's not like a Vision comic running around,
Yeah.
rampant, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta go get Vision comics.
All right. So even though we talked about this for half an hour now, still go see this movie.
Yeah,
it's so good. Even though we talked spoilers, whatever. Spoilers doesn't matter with this movie. It's good. It's such a good movie.
It holds up. There's a lot of things that I'm probably gonna. There's a very good chance I may go see it again tonight. And it's one of those. You see it the first time, and you see it again. The acting, acting's a little underdone these days. I believe, in my opinion, on anyone's role, any actor that comes through, I feel like that's a little short. Because of all the way the cuts, they get all these chances. There's no like one long shot. You can act every piece out. But the acting here, I think, is, I don't know, especially when Betty becomes Vision, he's just that face. They captured him really. Captured him really well. How do you? I mean, just a thought. If someone came up to you and said, "Hey, you need to play. You're gonna play a." You're not really a robot. You're something else between a robot and a human.
Like Steve Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have an infinite amount of knowledge. You have the world's knowledge in your head. And you have to be compassionate like a human, but seem mechanical and think like a robot, run on statistics or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
you still have to have that cold mechanical.
Yeah, what kind of face does he have? And he has a face. That's it. It's just it's a nice little it looks very good. I was very happy to see the way Vision turned out.
Yeah, I was very excited for that too. All right. I think that's it.
Oh, are we done? Did we already do a half hour?
Yeah. We're at like 34 minutes now.
Oh, do you have a sign-off thing? Are you going to do a sign-off thing?
Sure. It's going to go like this. Yeah, that was it.